Citizens United.
Another 5-4 decision. Same voters as in essentially as in the Shelby County case,
which allows the wealthiest people in this country to spend unlimited sums of money on independent expenditures. Talk a little bit about Citizens United and your view as to the impact it's had on American politics.
Well, Citizens United didn't involve individuals. Actually, that right was given by the court in the Buckley case back in 1976. But Citizens United said that corporations and, by extension, labor unions could spend unlimited sums. But what happened after Citizens United is we started getting these super PACs, which are these independent groups. As long as they don't work with the candidate directly, although there's been a lot of that too, and the Federal Election Commission's not policing it. That's a different topic. You can give $10 million, $50 million, however much you want to one of these so-called independent groups. And it's gotten even worse since then, because now, rather than just super PACs, which at least have to disclose their donors, we now have groups that are social welfare groups, so-called 501c4 groups, that act like super PACs, so they're engaged in political activity, but they don't disclose their donors.
So somebody can make a $100 million contribution into that super PAC without anyone knowing.
That's right. And we know that corporations, for example, like to use this route. They'd rather give to a 501c4 or a C6, which is a trade association like the Chamber of Commerce, because they don't want their name on what they're doing. And so not only is big money coming in, it's coming in and it's not being disclosed. And I should say, what I think is the primary problem is not a problem of corruption, but a problem of inequality. Why should it be that the wealthiest people in the United States and the wealthiest corporations have so much more of an ability to influence the outcome of elections and of public policy by influencing politicians who vote than everybody else? It's a fundamental equality problem. And the Supreme Court, since the 1970s, has said equality is off the table. That can't be a reason to leveling the playing field. It cannot be considered against the First Amendment. I think the court made a wrong turn 40 years ago. And it really needs to rethink that decision.
In other words, what they were saying is you have a First Amendment right to buy an election.
Well, I don't like to use the term buying an election.
I do.
Well, but what I would say is I analogize it to a lottery. If we were picking our candidates by lottery, everyone gets one ticket, everyone gets an equal chance. What Citizens United and other cases allow the wealthiest to do is to buy more tickets, to have much more of an influence over the outcome of elections and over policy than anything else. And that's really an important point too. It's not just about who wins the election. It's about what do people do once they're in office. If you are a member of a city council and you know that if you don't vote the way the developer wants, someone's going to fund $1 million campaign against you, that is going to affect what you do.
Let me just mention, apropos that, last week in Los Angeles, $13 million collectively was spent on school board elections. And the other thing that this does is if I know you're running against me and you have the capability of having tens of millions of dollars in independent expenditures, putting up ugly ads on television in support of you, I got to spend half my life raising money as well, becoming dependent on wealthy people as well, and not spending time with my constituents. So it creates a very insidious and ugly process by which candidates, even the good guys, are forced to move away from town meetings and involvement with ordinary people to spend so much time, incredible amounts of time, just raising money. It is a very corrupting impact on the whole political process.
I think the way to deal with this, given what the Supreme Court has done, which has limited the ability to stop big donations, is we need public financing of our elections.
I could not agree with you more. And we have some examples where cities and states have moved with some success in that direction.
That's right. Maine and Arizona have done this. I'm very excited about an experiment that's just started in the city of Seattle, Washington, where they're using campaign finance vouchers. In my book, Plutocrats United, which explores all of this, I say that if we gave voters campaign finance funds that they could then donate to candidates or parties, this would be a way to empower voters, get them more interested in the process, and if not take big money out of the process, at least dilute its effect. And really, that's the kind of thing that could be done on the state and local level in a lot of places.
And this is passing constitutional muster?
So far, so good. There are some things you can't do with public financing, the Supreme Court has said. You can't give extra money when someone faces a wealthy opponent. You can't kind of compensate for that because that would be level the playing field, and we can't do that. God forbid. But there are public financing schemes that are constitutional, and I think they need to be generous enough that people will agree to participate. Because if they are just, small potatoes and you're still worried about running against the opponent who's going to have a $10 million super PAC behind her, you're going to be in trouble. So you need to have adequate public financing.